Hey everyone, how's it going? So last time what we did is we got this set up so that it outputs some content when we submit a post. And what we're going to do now is actually work on the HTML that we're putting out into the page. Obviously at the moment we just output the content as it is, but we're going to go back to here and in common.js we created this create post function and we're going to actually add some HTML output there. So what we'll do is scroll down in that function and right at the bottom we're going to put a return statement. And then we're going to put the HTML in here. Now, we're not going to use double quotes for it. We're going to put some HTML, like some divs and stuff, but we won't use double quotes. What we're going to use is the backticks. So if you look on your keyboard, you should see some backticks. Now, for me on a Mac, it's in the bottom left. So it's the backtick. It's not a single quote, and it's not a double quote. It's a backtick, and the reason we're using that is because when you use JavaScript and you create a string with a backtick like this, it means you can inject variables into it. So for example, you could have a div like this, and then you could have the closing div, for example, and inside there you could just inject a string like this with some variable like this. And it would just put it into the string for you. You can't do that if you had, for example, double quotes here. If you had double quotes, this wouldn't work, and it would literally just output this as it is. If you wanted to use double quotes, you'd then have to break the string and then add addition signs so that you can just add the variable here. But we don't want to do that. That's not what we want to go for here. So what we're going to do is create this string with backticks so that we can just inject variables into it. So the first thing we're going to want, of course, is a div. So let's create a div this way. Now we could of course do this using jQuery and create objects using jQuery and append them one by one, but it would just take so long and it would be a super long piece of code. This for me is a much better way, and in fact it's much more easy to understand and to maintain as well. So anyway, we're going to create a div right here, and this div is going to have the class of post. Okay, and then inside there we're going to do another div, so div, and this will have the class main content container. Alright, so we've created a div inside of that called main content container, or with the class main content container I mean, and make sure you put your closing div on there as well. And I'll come back to why we're doing this later in the course, why we're doing it with this parent container. But basically, we will be putting something else here, another container, but we're not going to do that yet. All right. So just put this in there for now, and then we'll create another div. I know we're creating a lot of divs. Just bear with me. And this one's going to have the class user image container. Now that should sound familiar because we've already created a class called a user image container, which we'll be able to reuse some of the style for, but you'll see that shortly. And then inside the user image container one, we're going to create an image tag, and the src, the source of the image, is going to be the user's profile picture, which we know is going to be inside this post data one. So what we'll do is at the top here, we'll say var posted by equals post data, which is passed into this function. It contains all the data from the post collection in the database, and we'll just say posted by, which we know contains the data for that user, which means we can take that variable and inside the image src we can just put posted by dot profile pic like this. Okay, so let's give that a save and see what we get. So I'll just refresh the page, I'll do another post. Oops, hello, and we should see that. So we get the profile image, so it worked. It's output that, and we can see it's giving us the profile image and all our beautiful HTML code. So we're making progress. Let's just output some information about the user as well. So after this user image container, we're going to put something else now. So after that, I'll scroll up so you can see it a bit easier. We're going to do another div. And the class of this one is going to be post content container. This is going to be the div which holds all the main content of the post. So it's going to have like the name of the person who posted it, the actual post itself, and things like that. So put the closing div on as well, and in there You guessed it, we're going to have another div. I know we're creating a lot of divs, but this is the way you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to add containers for your elements. Sometimes there's no other way to create this sort of structure without having a bunch of containers. So just bear with me. Just be sure that we do need to do this. So we'll create another div, and it's going to have the class header, and then I'll put a closing one on there too. So div. And then what I'll do is I'll copy and paste that. Oh, make sure you remember your single quote on there. I've just realized I only had the one single quote, so make sure you get two. So I'm going to copy that, paste it below. And this one's going to be post body. And I'll post one more. And this one's going to have the class post footer. Now, you might be thinking, why didn't we just call this footer to match what we did with header? But the answer is I don't know. It's in my notes as post footer, and I think I might have used the class footer somewhere else. So to be sure, I'm just going to leave it as post footer. I'm also not going to change that to post header either. I don't want to change anything because in my notes it's like this, and it won't make a difference to how it works. It's just the name of the class. So anyway, we've just added 3 empty divs there that we can start adding some content into. So we'll just add the content real quick, so I'll just do it in the post body, and then we can come back and do the rest of it in the next video. So all we're going to do is do a span, which will output some text, and then put the closing span on as well. And inside there, we're just going to put the content. Now we can get the content just by saying post data.content. All right, so let's give that a try now. I'll go back to my page, I'll refresh it, and let's submit another post. And we have the content too. So great, it's all coming together. Just bear with me on this. I know we're creating a lot of elements and it's a lot of information to take in, but as soon as we start styling this, you will see how it comes together.